Hello, Namaste. I'm Ranjana Pradhan back again with another shorter video. Today's video focusing mostly on strengthening and stretching our upper body, especially our shoulder and arm region. Because we're standing on our 2 feet, we're mostly focusing on strength building of our legs, our core region, and we tend to overlook our upper body strengthening. So this video in particular will focus, if you want to come apart and do just the upper body strengthening, this is the video for you. Be mindful before you do this video, try to get to my earlier video where we work on strengthening, stretching the wrist so that you don't land up hurting your wrist slightly. So warm them up before we get into this. Again, also through the practice, try to be mindful of your breathing, soft, long, deep breath as much as possible. Let's get started. We're going to come into a child pose, but this time wide-legged. Gonna get the tip of our toes touching each other, knees wide apart, and walk our hands out to the front and release ourselves down to the earth. If you wish, you can drop your forehead down, or if you feel open enough, your chin can touch the ground. Let your body soften down, relax for a moment, slide, easing up and stretching of the hips to begin with. Slight stretch on the shoulders you begin to notice. Keep that awareness there and focus on your breath or two. Do not judge yourself, do not judge your practice, and let the class and the video go as per your need for the hour. If you think you need a stronger one, you can pause the video and repeat the practices for a little bit longer than I have. But these asanas will mostly be good for your upper body area. Slowly drop your forehead down to the ground and one armpit after another. Try to push the armpit down towards the ground. If you wish, you can lift your forehead and turning left and right, push the armpit down towards the ground simultaneously. No tightness anywhere, just a slight little push of the armpit down towards the ground. Starting to lubricate the joints, lifting the hips up slowly. Bring your hands slightly in, knees hip distance apart. Going to come into an all-4 position. Now here, we're going to not focus on our lower body, but mostly on the shoulders. We're going to go into retraction and protraction of our shoulder blades. Make sure the joints are stacked on top of each other, wrist below the shoulders. We're going to take the shoulder blades away from each other and into each other, like the tip of the shoulder blades touching each other. Protract them away and retract them into each other. Imagine your face is getting closer to the mat and away from the mat. Don't bend your elbows, keep your elbows straight. Maybe a slight bend there, but mostly straightening and working just on the shoulder blades to begin with. Pushing your knuckles, your index finger and your thumb into the ground. Take it to as much as you want. If you want, you can pause the video and keep feeling the sensation of how the practice brings to your body. And then keep the knees where they are, walk your hand away, and slowly let's drop our elbows down onto the ground and push our hips forward. We're going to go into a Sphinx pose. Again, remember the joints stacking on top of each other, our shoulders over our wrist. We can make yourself comfortable before we get into any asanas. Our forearms are parallel to each other. Going to push our hips down into the ground, point the toes to the back and lifting our ears away from the shoulders as we push our chest outward and upward. Going to stay here breathing for a moment or two. Starting to warm up the back region, the chest region, and slightly starting to stretch our shoulder region. Breathing deep and long. When you feel you've been here in this position for a comfortable amount of time, we're going to start to use our core movement, pushing the toes into the ground. We're going to lift our hips up and go back into the child pose. Make sure your elbows are pushed into the ground. The transition between these two, Sphinx pose, lifting up, inhale, exhale, lift up, elbows still pushing down, pushing the chest and chin into the ground. Keep transitioning, inhale, lifting up, exhale, pushing back, shoulders back, chin and chest onto the mat. Deep breath in and exhale, breath out. Again, do this for as long as you feel good. Strong core, strong shoulders. Nice, elegant movement. Be kind to your body. 2 more with me. 1 more there. And relax for a breath or 2. Now you're going to push your hip back. Bring your knees slightly forward. Bring your hips over your knees. Then bring your elbow closer to each other. Drop the forehead down and take your hands behind. In a prayer pose, push the hand behind. So releasing your armpit down towards the ground. Your forehead rested onto the mat. Again, if you want, you can use your blocks or cushions or pillows under your elbow. If you want to go deeper into it, just relax into the pose and let your shoulder, armpit area open up. Release, slow and gentle. Coming back into a tabletop. 3 rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, pushing the belly button down. Exhale, rounding the back, protracting the shoulder blades. Breathing and lift your chin and chest ears away from the shoulders. Exhale, pull the belly button in. Inhale. Exhale. Again, do this for as long as you want. I'm just going to end this one here. Now we're going to go into a little extended puppy pose. Same thing up front, hands down. Now up to you if you feel open enough, your chin on the ground, if not, your forehead on the ground. Loosen up and let yourself fall. It's okay if your hips are away from your knees. Just loosen up and let your upper body open up and stretch. Listen to your breath. Be mindful of the sensation. Stay as long as you wish, otherwise join me back into threading the needle. Legs and hands same distance apart. We're going to take the left arm up towards the ceiling, opening up, and exhale. The hand goes inside the window, temple resting on the mat, and then extending your second arm out in front of you. Relax your shoulder down, feel your right armpit that is stretched out, releasing down towards the mat as well. If you want a little bit of a balance in this pose, push your right palm into the ground, and the same right leg, you're going to open it out to the back. Keep your hips in line. Feel a slight bit of pressure increase on the shoulder region. Keep your legs straight, breathing deep and long. Stay here again for as long as you want, and drop the knee down or switch with me to the other side. Inhale and exhale. Release into threading the needle. Make yourself comfortable, temple on the ground. Extend the second arm out. Hips in line with each other. When you feel comfortable and want to go slightly deeper, drop the left leg onto the mat. Just to give our shoulders a little bit more of a deeper stretch. Stay as long as you want. And knees back, come back down, and relax. Normal breath in and out. And extend arms out one more time. Tuck the toes in. Pull the belly button in. Protract the shoulder blades and lift your hips up, bringing your shoulders over your wrist into a strong plank position. Now we're going to transition from here, from the plank into a dolphin pose. The same thing we did before, but before we were lying back in a sphinx. Here we're in a strong plank position, activating the core, activating the shoulder joint, and transition from here, pushing the shoulder back into a puppy pose and back into a plank again. Gentle with your body. Push. Inhale up and exhale. Push back. Back up again. Make sure your knuckle, your forefinger and your index finger and your thumb are pushing into the mat, and your shoulder comes over your wrist when you're in a plank. Enjoy the flow, breathing one move at a time. Whenever you feel like it, drop into a plank position. Stay there as long as you wish. And slowly get your feet together, palm in the center of the mat. Rotate your body and go into a side plank. Remember the hips lifting up and your hands pushing away from the mat. So your entire body is lifting up towards the ceiling. No dumping of the weight onto the palms, to the wrist. Lift, lift, and lift. Stay as long as you want again. Otherwise, switch with me to the other side. Remember, stacking of the joints on top of each other. Fingers spread wide. And lifting the hips and arms away from the ground. Keep a check on your breath. Slow, gentle breathing. Rotate. Come back into the plank. Stay here for as long as you wish. Get into a fatigue state where you feel tired and can't hold anymore. Then you hold for a couple of seconds more and then change. Let's go into our downward facing dog. But we don't go straight into it. We're going to bend our knees, push our forehead, touching the ground. Straight, bend, forehead on the ground. Bend, take the forehead as close to the ground as you can. Enjoy, feel that fatigue again. There. You want to stop here, stay in the downward facing position, or carry on with me for 2 more rounds. And back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take your legs slightly hip distance, maybe shoulder distance apart. Now we're going to work a little on the balance. Push the feet weight into the ground, your right hand into the ground, and the left hand, let's take it towards the toe. When you feel ready, you're going to lift it up and come into a 3-legged downward facing dog. Push your head still down. Stay here as long as you wish, as long as you can. And switch. Push the feet down, left hand down towards the toes. When you feel confident enough, take the arm up. Remember all the time while your palm is on the ground, your knuckles and your forefinger and your thumb pushing downwards. Let's get into a downward facing dog. And if you have a wall handy, turn around, the last of the asanas. Push your palm down, hands away from the mat, and take yourself into an L shaped on the wall. Look down between your hands. Stay again as long as you can. And drop down. Release, relax. Short practice, but you can expand it as per your need and requirement, or shorten it as per your requirement. And I hope you enjoyed and feel that burning sensation around your upper body. Hope you enjoyed the class this time. See you again next time.